Hello. I want to make a quick video about using the Haltech HT011310 GPS speed input module with a Holley Dominator EFI system. Put this on a car that I have. It's a land speed car that I race at Bonneville and some standing mile events. And I searched out there for some GPS systems that would work with this Holley. I didn't have the digital dash that Holley has. I have a RacePack IQ 3 digital display, and so I couldn't really find anything that was a plug-and-play GPS that would go in and data log what I was doing. So scope this out. It looked pretty good. Price is right, 125 bucks. Did a little digging. Again, I couldn't find anybody who's really done this before. So I looked at the specs, bought one, installed it, where the input module itself was. I just sort of zip tied it to my frame near the Dominator, and then I put the antenna for it in the rear of the car underneath the rear back glass, deck lid back glass, so it would always have direct line of sight to the satellites. So I set it up here on the IOs, and it's under GPS. You can see here it's under digital speed and frequency on the drop down list, and then in configure, again using some information from Haltech, what they have as far as the output frequency of this. Its pulses to average is 1, pulses per rotation is 4. To make this work right, just gear ratio is 4 and tire diameter is 10. So with these as sort of a baseline setting, it actually seemed to work pretty well. I've done several passes with it, and I can show you. Here's an example of a pass that I ran out at Speed Week here just about 2 weeks ago. This was the first pass I did out here, and let me open the data log for you. So this purple line here, that's the GPS speed. The red is RPM, and the blue is my throttle position. So you can see it's just like loafing along, not doing anything, because there's just no traction at all. Just every time I tried to get on it, it was moving all around, and you can see the RPM is just moving. I think that this was, less than 70% throttle. I think the most I ever got to was about 80%. But anyhow, you can see here, this is a 3-mile run. Took about 90 seconds to do. And I think through about 70 seconds to 90 seconds or so, 88 seconds, this was the last mile. So it sort of went in at about 183, topped out at a 204. And so when you check your speed at Bonneville, it's through the entire mile, so it averages out over there. So it showed I think 194 miles an hour. So that makes sense. Between 184 and 204 is 194. But you can see here the digital inputs. They're just sort of bouncing along and slowly climbing. So I think that seems to be pretty accurate. I ran a couple months prior up in Arkansas, standing mile event over there, and the numbers were just the same. I think I ran 223, and my GPS showed 223, so it's right on the money here. One thing that's kind of interesting on this, in this particular run, at the beginning, I had the data log set to turn on at 5% throttle. And the car had been running for a while, so everything was on and fine. But if we look at another data log here, this was a run I did on Thursday morning of Speed Week, and I turned the car on, fired it right up, and pretty much left. And what you'll see here is it takes about 35 or almost 40 seconds for the GPS to get turned on and locked into the signal, and then start catching up. Again, it's, in this case, topped out at 204, and the run I averaged just over 200 miles an hour in the last mile. So in this little section right here, it was just over 200 miles an hour, which makes sense. But just something to keep in mind if you're looking at GPS is it does take a few seconds for it to turn on, register, capture the signal, and start tracing. But that's about it. Very simple system. I was very happy with it. I believe it seems to be pretty accurate. I'm able to data log it and put it right into the system here, so it's just another one of the things that you data log along with everything else. You can set your parameters with it. That's it. Have fun.